Guys, welcome to your 47 C++ tutorial. This is Anirudh here, and welcome. And in this tutorial I'm going to be teaching you more about pointers and the dynamic initialization that we learned. Okay, so this is some easy diagram which I just found Google by googling it. So this is the memory, how the memory is a diagrammatic representation of how the memory is allocated when you run every C++ program. So here are the instructions, literals, and static data. What this is actually the program variables and all the data functions, etc. in the program. This is the main thing. The static data and literals mostly contain the variables, while the instructions contain the functions and the execution statements such as x equal to a plus b and whatnot. And then you have got the dynamic heap data. Okay, so this data is the data that we use to dynamically initialize arrays, and this is the stack, which, well, you'll learn later on. It's a slightly higher level concept, but anyway, this is going to be a very simple tutorial about pointers and all. So you are using pointers. Now remember, from the basic definition of pointer, a pointer is a variable which points to a memory address, and pointers can be used to point to the memory addresses in the dynamic data as well as the static data and everywhere. Okay, but the static data is, well, unable to point because it is not a pointer. But since pointers are able to point to the dynamic data, we can use it to dynamically initialize arrays. Okay, so, well, let's get to the programming of it. So here we are in the programming part. So just let me remove this. So how do you declare a pointer? Well, pointers are declared in a very simple way, as you already know, int star p, and here we have a pointer whose name is p. But a very good technique to do is always set this to null ptr. You should always do this, which I have not done in my previous videos. Sorry for that, but you should always do this, because if you don't do this, there are chances that this pointer may randomly point to something important in Windows, and if you change the pointer's value or do any manipulation at that position in the memory, well, your computer is a goner. It's happened to me once. After I made that video, after about a week, my computer crashed and I did not know that. So I had to research what happened, and, well, I found out this was the problem. So this is always what you need to do. Remember this. Working with pointers is very dangerous. Okay, so here we have initialized a pointer p. Okay, and I'm also initializing a regular variable a, and I'm setting it to 5. Okay, and then the regular array is p equal to address of a, and then you output p, and then it will print out the address of a as expected, or not. Well, let's see. I believe it will. And then you print out the value. I have to give an endl here, endl, and the value at p. So this should print out something in hexadecimal, while this should print out 5. Well, oh, okay, I get the error here. So instead of null ptr here, we should use null. Okay, so you'll find that the error later on. So just run this, and as expected, it just prints out the regular stuff as we expected. So nothing exciting here, at least right now. But now we are gonna do something really exciting. Integer pointers are really not very useful in C++, but character pointers are really awesome, I must say. So I create a new character pointer which using the dynamic memory allocation techniques, and I set this to, well, a. can see it hopefully properly. Anyway, so I've set this out to A, and then I write C out A. Oh no, CPTR. Okay, so what this should do, as you might think, is print out A. Well, I'm not sure about that. You'll be surprised at the output, my friend. Really surprised. Sorry about that. So let's continue and just build and run this. You'll be surprised. What the hell? You might think. A and then this thing and equal to, why did that come? Well, let's just set this to something else and see what happens now. T, again the same thing. Why is that happening? Just let's set this to, well, some special character such as question mark and question mark and then quotes and then 5. Again, why? Just try to think it yourself. Well, the answer is that this operator here, this stream operator, is overloaded to print character pointers as strings. Okay, to really understand this, well, I'm going to be creating a new character C string. Okay, character string, which is going to be new character. Let's say make the size a size S actually. So always before this you must declare S and input S. So and then you need to input the string. So as always you can input this. So you can input it with, well, I'm just gonna use a cin instead of a for loop. So CSTR, and well, this is the output line that I've already written here, including CSTR. So let's run this and see if this works. Yeah. So I'm just gonna set it to 6 characters and Anirudh. So it's gonna be a 7-1. Let's see how it handles the error. Well, it dynamically allocates it. Okay, so here is our output, and this is pretty self-explanatory, I should say. So you're just creating this dynamic string, and you're just inputting the string and outputting the string. But the main problem is this. As I said earlier, this operator has been overloaded to print out the entire string. As you can see here, this is a character. Actually, this is just a character pointer, but why is it printing out the entire string? Well, the reason is that this has been overloaded to print the entire string, and this is again a character pointer. So, but yet this does not contain a string within it. It is not pointing to a string, but only a single character. But since this has been made to, well, overloaded to print out the string, so this one will print out the string till an end of line character. If you remember the end of line character, it is this one, this character. Until it encounters this character, it will continue printing on the string, which occurs after about every 3 or 4 characters. So you only see 3 to 4 characters on the screen. So you must have understood hopefully why this happens. Now you might think, how can we avoid this thing? I want to stop this overloading. Well, you can do it by just cheating around it. Well, it's gonna be a very simple one. Char C. Okay, and I'm just gonna set it as the value at CPTR. Well, and then you just output C, and let's what happens. So run this, and I'm just gonna set its size to 1. First character is A. So question mark, this T random things, then A as expected, then the question mark. Yay, we've done it. we just printed out the question mark instead of the random gibberish following it. So you must remember that this is overloaded to print out the entire string in case of character pointers. Do not make this mistake in programming. You will see weird messages on the output screen, which will make it look like you've been hacked or something like that. But remember this, it's a pretty simple one. You just need to remember the simple things and you'll be golden. So thank you for watching. Please don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and stay tuned.